Today we will discuss an important topic, that is urine formation. In the chapter excretion, we will discuss urine formation. So, kidneys are the excretory organs in humans, not only in humans, in all vertebrates. Kidneys are the excretory organs. In kidneys, you find millions of structural and functional units known as nephrons. So, nephrons are the structural units and they are responsible for the formation of urine from the blood. So, the process of urination involves three important steps. Number one, glomerular filtration. Number two, reabsorption. Number three, secretion. So, three important steps are involved in the process of the formation of urine. Glomerular filtration. Next, tubular reabsorption. Third, secretion. Right. First, we will discuss glomerular filtration. Glomerular filtration. That means in the nephron there are two regions, Malpighian body and a renal tubule. Malpighian body consists of glomerular glomerulus and Bowman's cup. Glomerulus and Bowman's cup together constitute Malpighian body or Malpighian capsule. Malpighian body. Glomerular filtration occurs in Malpighian body. That is the first point. Here, a double-walled Bowman's cup. In the cup, you find a capillary knot. What is called glomerulus. A blood vessel supplies blood, what is called efferent arteriole. Another blood vessel collects blood, what is called efferent arteriole. So, filtration of blood takes place in the glomerulus because of pressure gradient. Because of blood pressure gradient, filtration occurs in glomerulus from the blood. So this is Glomerulus, a capillary knot. Efferent arteriole brings blood into the glomerulus, and efferent arteriole and carries out the blood from the glomerulus. The difference in the blood pressure existing in efferent arteriole and efferent arteriole causes the filtration of blood into the Bowman's cup through glomerulus. So in glomerulus, filtration of the blood takes place, and the liquid that is collected in the Bowman's cup is called filtrate. That is important point. Filtrate. So the blood pressure gradient of efferent arteriole and efferent arteriole causes the filtration of blood into the Bowman's cup from the glomerulus or capillary knot. Important. Next one. By both kidneys per minute. Next point, per minute. 1100 ml to 1200 ml of blood is filtered. Blood is filtered by both kidneys. 1100 to 1200 ml of blood is filtered by both kidneys per minute. That is equal to 1/5 of the volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle of the heart. Another objective point. So, per minute, both kidneys filter about 1100 ml to 1200 ml of blood. That amount is equal to 1/5 of the total volume of blood. Total volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle of the heart. That is about, I told you, 5000 ml. 5000 to 6000 ml. So, per minute, each ventricle pumps out about 5000 ml of blood. So, per minute, the kidneys filter 1100 ml to 1200 ml from the blood, equal to 1/5 of the total volume of the blood pumped out by each ventricle of the heart. Important point. Next. You see, from glomerulus to Bowman's cup, the blood is filtered. This is filtrate. Okay. The filtration membrane consists of 3 layers. You know, the diffusion membrane consists of 3 layers in the respiratory system: alveolar membrane, basement membrane, endothelium of blood vessels. Here also, the filtration membrane of the Bowman's capsule consists of endothelium of capillary, middle basement membrane, inner layer of Bowman's cup. These 3 layers constitute filtration membrane of the nephron. So, filtration membrane of the nephron composed of 3 layers. 1, endothelium of the glomerular capillaries. Middle basement membrane and inner layer of Bowman's cup. These 3 layers constitute the filtration membrane in the lungs. The diffusion membrane is formed by 3 layers. 1, alveolar membrane, followed by basement membrane middle, and inner endothelium of blood vessels. Here, endothelium capillary blood vessels, Basement membrane, inner layer of Bowman's cup. These three layers constitute the filtration membrane. Important. Next point. Outer layer of Bowman's cup is made up of simple squamous epithelium. The outer layer of the Bowman's cup contains flattened cells. Next to it, inner layer of the Bowman's cup. Inner layer of Bowman's cup contains flattened cells called, most important point, called podocytes. So podocytes are the specialized cells found in the inner layer of the Bowman's cup. That is objective point. What is the characteristic feature of these podocytes? These podocytes are joined together in a special manner, having filtration slits. Filtration slits are slit pores. So the inner layer of the Bowman's cup contains filtration slits or slit pores formed by special type of cells known as podocytes. Podocytes are found in nephrons, particularly in the inner layer of the Bowman's cup, and they form slit pores or filtration slits through which the blood is filtered. Through which the blood is filtered into the lumen of the Bowman's cup. Right. So, inner layer of Bowman's cup contains flattened cells called podocytes, and they form filtration slits or slit pores through which the blood is filtered into the Bowman's lumen of the Bowman's cup. Right. Filtration rate. The glomerular filtration rate. The glomerular filtration rate, GFR. So the amount of blood filtered by both kidneys per minute. The amount of blood, I already told you, per minute 1100 to 1200 ml of blood is filtered. The amount of filtrate formed in the kidneys. The amount of filtrate formed in the kidneys. GFR, the amount of filtrate formed in the kidneys per minute is called glomerular filtration rate. Glomerular filtration rate. The amount of filtrate, the amount of blood filtered by both kidneys per minute is 1100 to 1200 ml of blood. But the amount of filtrate formed in the kidneys per minute is glomerular filtration rate, that is about 120 ml, 120 ml per minute. That is about 120 ml per minute. That is another point. So GFR is equal to 120 to 125 ml per minute. ml per minute. So in a day, 180 liters of filtrate is formed by the kidneys. In 1 minute, 120 to 125 ml of filtrate is filtered by the kidneys per minute. In 1 day, the total amount of filtrate filtered by the kidneys is about 180 liters. But per day, the amount of urine excreted by kidneys per day is about 1.5 liters. 1.5 liters important. That means 99% of the glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed by the blood while it passes through the nephrons. So 99% of the glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed by the renal tubules. Next one. If GFR rate falls, what happens? You see automatically the kidneys, they have inbuilt mechanism to rectify any abnormality in the functioning of the kidneys occurs. So kidneys themselves rectify the mistake. But because for rectifying the physiological defect, you see there is a special apparatus, what is called juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxtaglomerular apparatus, JGA, important. So there is an inbuilt mechanism in kidneys, what is called juxtaglomerular mechanism apparatus, that keep up the normal glomerular filtration rate. The normal glomerular filtration rate is maintained by special apparatus found in kidneys, what is called juxtaglomerular apparatus. Important. Next point. JGA is formed by JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus, is formed by the contact region of efferent arteriole and distal convoluted tubule. Important point, everybody should note down. The region of the contact of efferent arteriole and the distal convoluted tubule will constitute a special apparatus, what is called juxtaglomerular apparatus. So in MSET, a question may be given like that in Neet. Juxtaglomerular apparatus in kidneys are formed by efferent arteriole and distal convoluted tubule. Everybody should note down this point. Definitely in the coming Neet, this point will be asked as multiple choice question. Question may be that JGA in kidneys is formed by efferent arteriole, proximal convoluted tubule, efferent arteriole, distal convoluted tubule, and efferent arteriole and distal convoluted. That is the correct option. So in kidneys, efferent arteriole and distal convoluted tubule together constitute JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus, that regulates the GFR rate. Suppose if GFR falls down, automatically GGA secretes an enzyme, renin, RENIN, not RENNIN. RENNIN is different from RENIN. Renin is that is milk protein secreted in infants. Here, renin is an enzyme, RENIN. The mechanism and the action of renin will be discussed in a separate topic. Just when GFR falls down, immediately JGA activates and produces an enzyme, what is called renin, that regulates the GFR functioning. So if GFR falls down, immediately the kidneys produce renin, particularly juxtaglomerular cells, GG cells of GGA produce renin. So GGA contains two types of cells. KG cells which secrete renin when GFR falls down, and GG cells act as mechanoreceptors. They act as mechanoreceptors. In GGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus, besides JG cells, there is another group of cells known as macula densa. This is not given in Neet textbook. NCERT textbook does not have this matter. So, juxtaglomerular apparatus consists of JG cells which secrete renin when GFR falls, and JG cells act as mechanoreceptors, whereas macula densa contains long chemosensitive cells. Which act as osmoreceptors. So the macula densa cells of JGA, they act as osmoreceptors and they perceive the changes of the solute concentration of the blood. The solute concentration of the blood is identified, special type of cells together known as macula densa found in JGA apparatus. Again, I am explaining. The junction or the contact of efferent arteriole and distal convoluted tubule acts as JGA apparatus, juxtaglomerular apparatus, having two types of cells. JG cells which act as mechanoreceptors, and when GFR falls down, they secrete an enzyme what is called renin that acts upon and immediately rectifies the metabolic rate, juxtaglomerular filtration rate. GFR, glomerular filtration rate, automatically is normalized by the enzyme renin secreted by JG cells of JGA apparatus. Besides JG cells, there is another group of cells having long chemosensitive cells which act as osmoreceptors, and the function of the osmoreceptors is to recognize the changes in the concentration of the solutes of the blood. So they recognize the changes of the concentration of the solute of the blood. That is about JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus. Next one. Reabsorption. So 99% of glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed by the renal tubule. So 180 liters of glomerular filtrate is filtered into the bowman's cup in a day, but the amount of urine excreted in a day by the human is about 1.5 liters of urine is normally produced. That means 99% of the glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed by the renal tube. So let us discuss the various regions in which the reabsorption takes place. Say I require water frequently, otherwise I cannot see. So reabsorption normally occurs by two processes. Active process in which energy is required. Passive process in which energy is not required. Simple diffusion. So reabsorption of the materials or the substances from the glomerular filtrate occurs while the filtrate passes through the renal tubule. That is what is called renal reabsorption or tubular reabsorption. About 99% of the glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed by the renal tubule. Right. Reabsorption occurs by two processes, active process and passive process. What are the substances which are reabsorbed by active process? By active process. One, nutrients like glucose, amino acids, sodium, electrolytes. They are absorbed by active process, which are reabsorbed by passive process. Nitrogenous products, urea, uric acid, these are the nitrogenous products. They are also being reabsorbed. In the glomerular filtrate, you see nitrogenous waste products are also filtered, urea, uric acid, creatine, but they are also reabsorbed by passive process. By passive process, important. Nutrients, glucose, amino acids, vitamins, sodium, they are reabsorbed by the renal tubule by active process. Whereas nitrogenous waste products are also reabsorbed by passive process. You see, water, important. Most of the water in the glomerular filtrate is also reabsorbed. You know, in the initial segments of the renal tubule, initial regions of renal tubule, what are those? Proximal convoluted tubule and descending limb are Henley's law. Here, water is reabsorbed by passive process. Proximal convoluted tubule and descending limb of Henley's law. Descending limb of Henley's law, water is reabsorbed by passive process. important one, you have to note down. Whereas through distal convoluted tubule and connecting tubule, water is reabsorbed by the active process. This is very important. Throughout the renal tubule, water is reabsorbed alone by active process, alone by passive process. In the proximal and in the descending limb of Henry's loop, water is reabsorbed into the blood by passive process. But in the distal region of the renal tubule, that is, in the distal convoluted tubule, collecting tubule, water reabsorption is by active process. Under the influence of the hormones. Under the influence of hormones. Right. Proximal convoluted tubule. Water reabsorption, repeated reabsorption in proximal convoluted tubule. So in the reabsorption, how the proximal convoluted tubule involves, that is the important point. See here, this is Bowman's cup, glomerulus. This is PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. What is the function of proximal convoluted tubule in the formation of urine? The proximal convoluted tubule is lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple cuboidal epithelium having brush borders. The wall of the proximal convoluted tubule is made up of simple cuboidal epithelium having brush borders involved in active reabsorption of the electrolytes and water and nutrients. So most of the nutrients, electrolytes and water are reabsorbed into the blood through proximal convoluted tubule from glomerular filtrate. What are the substances which are reabsorbed through proximal convoluted tubule? See here, this is proximal convoluted tubule. Nutrients. What are nutrients? Glucose, amino acids. Glucose, amino acids. Bicarbonates. Another you ask for. Everybody should write down. Bicarbonate. Sodium. Potassium. Ammonia. So these are the substances which are reabsorbed. Substances which are secreted into the glomerular filtrate. Hydrogen and ammonia. Hydrogen and ammonia. And water, important one, water. So write down the substances which are